Coach, just talk about bouncing back defensively after the LSU game. It looked like you guys were locked in, as you like to say, from the start of the scout.
Well, we did, and I think if you look at it, really, it got really going. I thought Zakai coming in really brought some energy. I thought his ball pressure was really important. But I go back, Josiah, I thought was terrific tonight. You know, he had a double-double, but it was the way, this team looks at him and they know that he'll find a way to help some way, somehow. I thought his first three was a good, great look at it. Second one he had to shoot, and you worry because he was wanting to take good shots, but I thought the shot for him at the end of the first half was a big play. But even without that, the fact that he was able to, again, he was so involved in so much defensively and even offensively moving the ball. Folke, I thought, came back and gave us, again, we just need consistency from our older players. I thought Olivier was too anxious early in the game. He had come off a couple games where he was doing some things. Almost, and I said this, it seems like every time you get the ball, you've already made up your mind what you're going to do with it. You can't play basketball that way. And when we talked about how we got to get to the line, we got there. We just didn't take advantage of it. And we're better than that. I'm telling you, I mean, when you get your shooters there, you've got to get something from it. But that's part of it. And otherwise, we'd have made just a decent percentage. We would have scored 70-some, maybe 80 points, whatever. But we didn't. And it's hard always playing against South Carolina. But I think it's obvious these guys are working as hard as they can on the defensive end, and we've got to continue to do that. And again, truly believe that if we'll get the ball popping more, we'll be a much better a much better offensive team. The ball sticks too much with certain players, with most all the players.
Mike, Madison, and Ryan.
What did you like about the way that John responded tonight, and Kennedy defensively? Was this maybe the first half, especially one of his better defensive performances?
I do think Kennedy was better defensively. I do, and I think the biggest thing is he continues to learn this game and what it's about. He's going to continue to get better and better. He still is learning how different teams play different ball screens early in the game, and they do as good a job as anybody in the country. When you set a ball screen, the defender just fights hard to get over it. If you don't set them up, if you don't hold the screen, you're not going to get anything out of the ball screen. And so our spacing wasn't great there. But again, I don't think there's any question Kennedy's trying to work as hard as he can defensively. I do. I think it's all new for him to play at the level that we need him to play at. And John, again, I thought he came back and he took himself out of the game a couple times, which that's what we said to him. Hey, if you again, we don't know where he is with how he's feeling, but tonight I thought he really worked hard in the post. I think their post had one bucket or 1 point, and they do a good job of fighting for space in there.
Coach Sakai said to ESPN after the game that he believes he can be the best defender in the country. As a head coach, how much confidence does that give you that a freshman has that mindset?
Well, what we do know when he comes in the game that everything's going to change. The tempo is going to change, and sometimes he goes too deep. But defensively, the last game he didn't play much because we said that what he's done all year was he comes in and he brings that energy. He does it, and he's fearless. He's not going to back down from anybody. And but he's like Santi. Both of those guys are in elite shape, and it's really. But we keep up with how many miles guys have run. Say, for instance, since the very first day of practice, he and Santi are way out in front because they practice like that. That's why they're in such great shape. But there is no doubt our team has a lot of confidence when this guy comes in the game. They know he's going to fight and scratch anything he has to do to help them win.
Y'all are averaging just 11 free throws a game entering SEC play. Now have shot 20 in over 3 of your 4 games. How do you balance the excitement with that, with the frustration of not shooting them as well as you'd like to?
You got to still get to the line. Like I guess the old adage in basketball is you just want to make more than the other team shoots. I can't really read this, but how many did we made? 11. How many did they shoot?
There were 6 of 17.
So again, if you can just make more than they can shoot, regardless of what you shoot, it's a good thing. And we've still got to get there. Like I said, you look down the list, the guys that, let's see, free throws, I'm trying to read it. Kennedy obviously had a tough night there. Santi, I mean, the guys that you're counting on to make them, they've got to do it. Guards, you expect it. They're not going to make them all, but we've got to continue to get there.
West, Grant, and then Ben.
How hard is it to convince young people to keep playing defense at the level y'all are playing it when the offense is struggling? That's not probably an easy thing for a lot of kids to do.
Well, a lot of things. I mean, I could talk about when we're struggling on offense, and we were putting so much effort into our defense, and on offense, we wouldn't struggle as much if we would get the ball, if we would just simply do what we practice. Like if you saw us yesterday in practice, we really played the way we want to play. And South Carolina and Tennessee, I think, mirror each other more than any two teams in the league. I mean, when I got here, trying to show the example of what it takes to play high-level defense, with that first couple years here, we would watch South Carolina tape with our players saying, hey, this is what it takes to win. Nights if you're not shooting well, this is what it, and the reason I did that, I've known Frank Martin forever. I knew what it was like playing against him when he was at Kansas State. I know what it's like playing now, how hard they're going to play. But to get the standard that we wanted, that was the team that we emulated and say, this is where we got, this is the standard in this league. And the group, Grant and those guys would tell you, they learned a lot from watching those teams when we first got here. So now we've got the standard, and we've got to continue to play defense, especially, like I said, you're going to struggle at night offensively. I mean, I just want us to, the guys that are open when they're open, the guys whose jobs are to shoot it, I want them to shoot it. And again, we have not told anybody not to do it. All we've said is take good rhythm shots. And if they don't, it turns. I mean, it did tonight. I mean, they scored in the first half off turnovers. Now I'll go back and tell you, most of it was because guys didn't shoot the ball. You got to shoot it, and we'll go rebound it. And we should really feel confident to shoot the ball because we guard the way we guard. We know we're going to get opportunities to do it. But it goes back when we're moving the ball, when the ball's not sticking. That's when we become an effective offensive team. And we keep talking about it. We've got to get guys to stop making the same mistakes now because scouting has something to do with it. And they've got to understand what you want to do. You want to play to your strengths. Stay away from the things you don't do well. And very few guys do it all well. And we've got to get there.
Justin played 19 minutes. He didn't take a shot from the field. Is that him focusing on his defense, or is that one of the guys that he's got to shoot it?
He's got to shoot it when he's open. I mean, especially when the shot clock. You can't throw the ball into the net. Shot clock coming down. He got it deflected, put us in a bad situation. He's got to be aware of the clock. And again, one of the hardest things to guard in basketball is a guy that pops up on you. That's hard to guard. We work on it every day, and we would tell you that's one of the hardest things to guard. When you've got guards that can pop up on you. He should be that kind of player where he can pop up and hit it. And but Justin's a freshman too. He played six? Well, I don't know how many games he played a year ago, but he's still learning too.
Rick, just with the free throws, I mean, can you put your thumb on why there are struggles? Do you think they're tied up mentally?
I've said it before. If I could coach DNA and made shots, we'd play the perfect game. I promise you can. It's teams go through it. We go through it. I mean, I can tell you games we played this year where we look like a great offensive team. And then the difference is every game takes on a different personality. When you're dealing with some young guys on the floor, some inexperience, it takes them a while to get the speed of the game. It takes them a while to get the feel for the game. But it still goes back to execution. And when things don't break down, we have a flow that we haven't gotten to as much as we should. That is, again, we've got to believe in that as opposed to throwing the ball to somebody, okay, I got to go make a play. No, it'll happen naturally. As much time as the reps we've got in, so it's the mindset. It really is. I think it's the same thing going to the free throw line. It's a mindset. You go up there, you got to want to be there. I don't think there's anybody on our team that doesn't want to be there, but you got to make them.
Finish up with Karthik in the back.
Hey Coach, there at the end of the first half and starting the second half, you guys got on a really good run where you guys were making a lot of shots. It seemed like it was kind of the best stretch of the game for you all. What did you feel like went well during that time?
If you watch it, you go back, speed of the game. Our team, when we get the speed going, that's good for us. And the ball's moving. The ball's simply moving. It's not sticking in anybody's hand. The ball's moving, and guys get playing together. It is. When the ball sticks, like even when we run ball screens, we got to get to it quicker. We got to be more effective with it. But the ball's got to get popping.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.